Because if you look at some of these pictures, they're black people, they're black kids in all those pictures, and this is in the back in the, 1920s
Well, that's why
and everything.
I asked some of the white people, do they know?
Of course they do.
But they never.
It's
did.
history.
Yeah, they never.
That's what we're trying to get our black people to understand. You have a history, but if you don't talk about it, how would someone know about it? Because we're looking at that picture of the schools in Windsor. Check it out when you go back over. You came straight over here. But that picture, they do not have the black kids sitting here and the white kids sitting here. They're all mixed in together.
Yeah, we sat on the floor in the kindergarten.
We all sat on the floor in kindergarten.
The teacher that we had, Miss Holmes, she was a great teacher, and it was a lot for her to try to teach the kindergarten first and second.
Right.
So she would use us second grade ones that could do it to teach the kindergarten kids.
Now, did you go to Hayden Station?
You should come. Florence, why don't you go over here and help facilitate
Hayden
the
Station
interview?
School.
Yes.
Yes, and they put a house
You gotta
there.
be in the picture then.
He
You
just
should
put it
go
up
see
there.
if you're in there.
He just put it up there. He just put a picture.
No,
up
that
there.
picture's in the Historical Society on the wall.
Oh, really? I don't know.
Oh,
what
honey,
it was.
yes. I'm sorry. Yes, it is. We're gonna find you. Get back over there.
Yeah.
Turn. Oh, yeah.
You're actually facilitating the interview right now, Florence. You're doing such a good job.
Turn around and put your. Here, let me put your ice cream in my container so it'll stay cold right now.
People don't talk about little Hayden Station. You notice?
No, they do. That's the whole purpose of what we're doing now.
Yeah.
First I heard of it was just today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You see, because if
Miss
nobody talks
Hastings
about it.
talked about going to Hayden's
They had
school.
that was like, where the houses are on Hayden Station after you pass that
Wait,
roundabout?
stop it, because you want all this on film.
Did you remember? You never remember where all them houses are? They were tobacco fields. They were, and the plane used to come down early in the morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning, spraying that stupid whatever, to get in your faces and your nose and all that kind of stuff, because they
The
would.
chemicals.
Yeah, and I think they realized, that there were more whites in that area. There were whites mixed in there too. They thought it was probably just us, so they didn't care about, with the whatever the planes they send down, because they had.
The crop
I think
dusting
that-
planes.
The crop dusting.
Right.
Planes,
But
And
that was
they
in
didn't
all areas, yeah.
Yeah, but I think because they stopped. But they used to fly right over our house, right to the field.
Uh-huh.
Where
And
they
was
had
this
to,
on Center Street?
Nope, it
your
was on
house?
Hayden Station and Pond Road. Our
Yeah.
street's Pond Road, and that airplane thing, whatever they fly over, went right over our house. Over
Were
to
they
the
dusting
tobacco
the-
field. Yeah.
Were they the tobacco fields? Were they doing those fields? Or
No, it
there's
was.
other?
It was. I think they grew some vegetables there,
Uh-huh.
and there was something else they grew. There are all houses there now.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Did
But I
you,
think-
were you born in Windsor?
Yeah.
So you want her to
Yeah.
start just telling her name?
Yes, let's start formally by having you introduce yourself, say your name, and we can also go over some of the stories that we were hearing with you and Florence, which is
Well,
great.
listen to you. You're cute when you do that.
Oh,
I
thank you.
no,
Isn't
because
she adorable?
I like to see young people get recognized into things like
But
this.
look at her title.
Oh, yes. I'm the Community History Specialist at the Windsor Historical Society.
What's your name?
My name is Sulema, and I'm the Community History
Are you
Specialist.
on that list? They had a list of.
Yes.
There was a Jubilee name on there too.
No, that's the committee. She's actually on the board of the Historical Society.
Well, yeah, then you better get to know some of the people.
Yeah.
Some of the people on the board, some of your older,
Yeah.
My mother was involved in
So
some
we're
of the
gonna stop
school
so
stuff.
you can start from the beginning. I'm
She
gonna get out of
remembers.
the
She's
way.
been standing here all the time. She hears it.
Yeah.
Did you knew about the tobacco, those airplanes that used to come down over?
No, not particularly. I did do a little studying about the, tobacco farming and migrant workers, but I didn't know about the planes.
Yeah, they used to come around about 5 o'clock in the morning
Oh wow, that's
over
early.
our house, because we were like the middle house and there was a house over here. And they used to come right straight through, straight right over, 5 o'clock in the morning. Can you imagine? Because they had corn out in that field because they grew stuff out there, and I think it was corn, and it might have been some tobacco. And they used to come over our house, couple of next door probably, and right over to that field,
To
tobacco
collect the
field
dust
or
stuff
whatever,
on the
yeah,
fields.
with that tobacco stuff. But somebody must have got winded, you know, that wasn't a good idea. So they got rid of it. They stopped doing it. But it wasn't nice. You know, all of us kids, my mother had 10 kids and the other people had 5 kids, you know, and this is coming over.
Yeah.
So they made us think. And then they stopped sending it then. But country was country. I love the country. You could run around barefoot. You know, you played baseball in the little field over there. If you go Pine Road now, you wouldn't know it when we were coming. I told the guy the other day. I said, if you was to come back, you know, because it was 1, 2, I think it was 4 houses, all black people, right there where they.
When you grew up, they were all owned by blacks?
On that street,
Uh-huh.
and the whites were in a different area.
Yeah.
They didn't come up, you know, where we were. But I mean, we grew up with them. They were our friends.
Yeah.
I was telling, what's the name over there about the movie theater?
Florence.
Yeah,
Florence
about the
Barlow.
movie theater, and we had to sit upstairs.
Yeah.
And our friends, being white, they sat downstairs, but they made such a fuss that they let us sit downstairs with our friends. But other than that, you know, the blacks sat upstairs. And they probably don't never tell people that we had to sit upstairs.
Well, we're telling them now.
You're right. They probably say it's not true. And
Oh,
maybe
no.
that's why they're having a
I grew
time.
up down south.
So
I know
you're
that
used
stuff
to
is
that. I
true.
know it. I said
No, that stuff is
they
true.
the same. Now they're trying to put a restaurant in that. In
It's
that.
supposed to be a place where you can have meetings, like a banquet hall kind of
Yeah,
thing.
that's I asked
And
them.
maybe some restaurants upstairs or on the side. So restaurants, yes, but other stuff also.
And-
But who knows? They've been working
did
on
you
it
know
for
the,
many,
did you
many
know
years.
the theater, the plaza? Did
Yeah.
you know that? Where that was? And where the plaza?
Where it is now, downtown?
No. Yeah. Well, you call that downtown?
Downtown Windsor.
And the library was not where it's now.
Right.
It was up near Center Street. And the the librarian's house is still on Center Street.
Really?
Still there.
So the library that's downtown was on Center Street
No? Yeah.
when you grew up?
Well, when we grew up, it was, yeah. And plus, they had like a little thing, and that burnt up. It was a little theater right near Claps, World Claps Theater, and our little library was right there, and it caught fire and burnt up. So we didn't have that anymore. And nobody really probably knows, except if you lived in Windsor, you'd know that was a library. And they moved it. And then now they're working on the building that was our fake library. Because they must be building something else there. But you need to go see Miss English's house. It's right almost, you might as well stay on the corner center in Hayden Station. And they probably, when it's like that, for some reason or other, they don't like fix it all up.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's kind of like when we grew up. Miss English was good. She was a really good person.
Yeah.
We had Halloween. We had to come to her house. How would you like to come to somebody's house and tell, so she could guess us? I mean, we wanted to get out and do, you know, we wanted to do Halloween. But she made us all sit at her house and tell us whatever. You don't know where Center Street is. You don't know where Center Street. You need to go up there and look. You don't have to go far.
Yeah. No, I will.
And we had a fire station made out of a bus.
Really?
Yes. It was like an old truck type of thing. And that was our fire station.
Well, we're taking notes from all these things. I mean, I have my own list of things to look at. Like I said, Hayden School. I never
You
heard
wouldn't
about that
even
until
know it
today.
was the. You wouldn't
The
know
Citrus
it
Street,
was
the
a.
fact that the library wasn't
you-
where it is now.
Right, and you wouldn't have known that we did have a fire truck,
Uh-huh.
but it wasn't a fire truck. You know, it
It was
was
made out of a
homemade,
bus.
whatever. Yeah. That and but you need to go. You don't have to go all the way up Center Street.
Do you still have a lot of family that lives in town?
I think everybody's just about gone,
Uh-huh.
especially the older ones. You know that we got some information. You know from.
And you said there were 10 children.
Yeah.
So where were you
I
in
have to
that?
always count. I have to count because I was. One, two. I think I was the third.
There.
I think it was like. I think there was more girls than boys.
Uh-huh.
But I enjoyed living in Windsor.
Growing up here. Yeah.
We were, when you say country, we were country. Barefoot,
Yeah.
baseball, sliding down hills, you know. I mean, that was fun to us. If we didn't have a sled because there was too many kids in someone's family,
Uh-huh.
you'd get your grandma's washing thing, the washing machine cover thing. And you just
It's
get
kind of
in there
like a
and
saucer.
and you slide down the hill with that. I'm saying it was fun things, and one of my brothers really could do, like he made us, what's them, scooters? Is it a scooter?
Uh-huh.
Like that? Because we didn't have too many
With the
kids.
wheels, just made your own
Yeah,
scooter.
he made his own scooter. Get the wheels and stuff from whoever went to the dump or whatever and bring the stuff in. He put the handle and stuff on, and he would make us stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, that and you would say that you know it was like, you know, somebody that just has hands and stuff to do things. He could fix light bulbs in the house, you know, and he could. I mean, it's amazing that you say kids in the country, what do they do? They ain't, you know, they're not doing that. And he would make things for us because, you know, they couldn't afford 10 scooters or whatever you needed, and we were all runners. We probably would have been in the Olympics. We would have, because we were all runners. I mean, run. Double Dutch? You don't play double Dutch.
Yeah, I've done double dutch.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, that was our
I
thing.
could turn
Oh
double
my-
Dutch.
Huh?
I could turn double Dutch.
You can?
All through school, I was a camp counselor. So we had to learn Irish, double Dutch, single Irish, Scotch, hop. We had to learn all this.
Wow. But it was fun.
Yeah.
And then sometimes my brother would make us run in the hot sun.
Mhm.
You know, so we'd like see who was the fastest. You know. One of my brothers, he probably would have been in a baseball.
Mhm.
They kept people back
Sure, sure.
where we grew up. Believe me.
We interviewed someone a couple of years ago who was, he was one of the last people like alive that played in the Negro Baseball League.
Okay?
And he brought all his memorabilia from playing in that. So, yeah.
And
So it's-
Ulysses Grant, maybe look him up. He was about our oldest, best. What do you want to call it?
basketball player?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They didn't recognize him too much. And they lose interest. My brother was the best. They lose interest because they won't recognize you.
Right.
And they won't say they did, but we ain't stupid. You know what I mean? You can tell when somebody's not recognizing you for what it is.
Sure.
My sister could do double. What is it? What's the high jumper thing? To see how high you can
The
jump.
high jump over the bar?
And you have the rope. You know, you hold the rope and see who can jump the highest.
I don't know that.
Yeah, who could jump the highest over
Yeah.
that rope? And she could. And by the time she could, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
She could go over that rope like nothing. And the kids were really smart, but they were held back. Where, you know, like I saw a kid in the post office one day, and he had his hair in braids or twisted down. And I said, you know what? When we were coming up, you wouldn't be working in this post office. I'm telling you right now. And he looked at me like, I said, I'm telling you the truth. You wouldn't be working in this post office with these braids or whatever you had hanging down his back. And he just looked like, you know, what's she talking about? But he wouldn't have.
No.
They wouldn't have let him work in that post office with braids down his back and whatever. I mean, they
Might have been lucky to get a job in
right.
post
Yeah.
That's
office.
what I'm saying. They don't want to admit to some of that, and they get the kids to recognize, make it say that they didn't do, that didn't happen, but it would have. It did happen. I mean, and it's sad because it held some of them back. A lot of us could have went farther than what we did.
That's one of the reasons that we're doing things like this, is because Windsor Historical Society, I think, has a commitment to getting all stories as opposed to just some stories,
Right.
because there were people of color who lived in Windsor, but we don't always see their stories. So that's so I'm so glad that you're doing this.
And it's too bad that they didn't do this a little sooner, because then they could have gotten the feelings of these people that
Yeah.
were held back. My brother,
Yeah.
my friends, that got held back and could,
Sure.
could tell the story. How did they feel? You know what I mean?
Sure.
Knowing that they would hold you back. If we wanted to go to nursing school, they'd have some kind of excuse why we couldn't join that nursing class. And that was true. I was one of them.
Sure.
They had an excuse why you couldn't become a nurse. It was stupid, but they did it.
Which is probably why down south a lot of places started nursing schools. The
Right.
black people started their own nursing schools.
Right.
Because you couldn't, even
You
though you
couldn't
were
get-
just as qualified, you wouldn't necessarily
wouldn't
get
have
into
gotten
some of the other ones, so you start your own.
Right. And it's true. It's too bad. Like, it's better that it's being done than not being done.
Right.
But how many kids did they
That they lose.
say, and hurt their feelings because they would say, you can't do it. You can't join it. We had good baseball players. We had basketball players. We had runners. All of them kids had all that quality. But they weren't given the opportunity. And I'm glad you all are doing that and push it. Don't let something stupid.
We're leaving it up to the youngsters.
Yeah, you push. Let me tell you, because you didn't have to live it. And a lot of the kids I grew up with, they didn't even grow up in the southern parts, which we didn't. When you heard stories, what they would do. It was like, yeah, right. Even when Roots come out, the kids that I was teacher's aide for, they said, yeah, you think we'd go hiding in some buggy? So I said, yes, you would.
That's right.
Yes, you would. You'd get under that mat or whatever they had on that in Roots or whatever the
Whatever
buggy.
you needed to do to survive.
But oh no, I yes, you would. So this is the attitude, I didn't.
Well, I was born down south, so some of those things they exist in the north,
but it's
just
different.
more blatant. So you have to be mindful
Some of them people
it.
got their butts whipped. I mean, that was just normal. That you said the wrong word, you're gonna get your butt whipped. But it's sad when you hear about, because I didn't hear about Martin Luther King until I was older.
Yeah.
It's
So after it had already happened.
right when all that stuff happened. Then we started hearing about Martin Luther King. Can you imagine? Or when the riots started. Or when the riots started here.
Sure.
That's the first time we ever heard stuff about Martin Luther King and stuff like that. Can you imagine?
Well, I remember when that happened. We lived in Hartford, and my parents wouldn't let me and my brothers and sisters go out of the house
Yeah.
because they were afraid something was going to happen. So we couldn't even leave the house.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And that was the first time that we heard, Martin Luther King. And it was a white guy that ran a store on Barber Street. Real nice guy. White.
On Barber Street.
Yeah.
Okay.
Real nice. He did things that would let people, if they didn't have the money for their food or something, he would give them a break until they got the check
Sure.
and stuff like that. And when that riot came, that was a sad day.
Yeah.
He stayed up all night because he didn't want them to burn his store. Tired, and he went home. They burned the store down. People were really mad. Black too were mad because he was really good.
Right.
And they burned his store down. So things, they say we didn't know too much about the South, which I didn't, but those things we knew, but first thing we'd say, yeah, we wouldn't put up with that stuff. You know, what we would do? No, we would have done the same thing that people did too, hide and get behind something or whatever. We would have done that, you know, because we weren't used to stuff like that. We just weren't used to it. I wasn't, you know, and it's sad, and it should. I admire you for standing for stuff like that, and don't give up.
Might be in law school in a year or two.
Good for her. A lot of your people are gonna need it. No, but if they're trained right. But when you get hurt, like a lot of them have, you know, then you can see why they're angry.
Yeah.
You really can see as you move along with the people and you're talking, you can see why they're angry. We were called names too, but guess what? We beat them up. And if we was down south, they would have killed us probably, because we would beat them up. If they called us some of the names that those people got down there, we'd beat them up. You know? And you know, you're coming up in a different generation. We came up in a different generation. You know? I mean, people wouldn't believe it. That's why we knew some of the things. You know, when they say, okay, whites did this and blacks did, they did it with us too. But they'd get beat up. We'd get killed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there is a difference. We didn't know that. I didn't know that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, where somebody's going to do that. Yeah, I didn't know. And it's sad. And most time reacted like I told you that boy did. You know, no, I ain't. You think I'm hiding in what's
And
the
part of the
name?
problem being that you weren't taught it in school.
No.
So, so what was being taught in school probably wasn't really your history,
Right.
or the part we played in the history.
Right.
Right.
You know,
So-
and the white kids could call you the name and
Yeah.
think they get away with it. Only different with us, we beat them up. You know, and the older lady told us one time this little white boy called her a name. He called her Miss Nigger. Older lady now, and he was maybe about you. He said, hey, Miss Nigger. She said, your mother and daddy's a nigger. That's how we reacted to, you know, when they did it. But if we was in the South, we'd probably be dead. You know, but this is how we grew up different. My father always made us behave and mind. You don't, you know, you just don't do things that you're going to get in trouble for.
Right.
Or he would make sure that you didn't. We had to learn that respect went both ways. You know, that's why I said when somebody tells you kids the mask, keep the mask on. There's a reason.
Yeah.
And that's what he would say to us. If they say keep the mask on, keep it on. Instead of saying, okay, keep the mask on, and keep a mask on my face and stuff like that. When somebody, a grown person, says anything to you, you listen. You
Listen and then come home and tell us.
Yeah.
And let us deal with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Same thing when we have racial on our bus, right? My grandmother used to have to walk to work at Miss Clapp's house, the big house down there I was telling you about. And she had to walk to work, but when she turned around, she seen all, like, her grandchildren, which would be us, and then the other one. They were all in the back. Well, we were the first on the bus. Why would we be in the back? So when she came home, she told my father now. And my father said, what? And he says, yeah, all the kids. And she asked us, why are you in the back? What are you all in the back? You're the first on the bus. Why are you in the difference in the way my father and the neighbor guy handled?
Sure.
They went to the town hall and explained what she saw. That guy was fired. That was the end of his job.
Yeah.
Other people would probably hop up on that bus and start cussing them out, you know, because they were mad. That wasn't the way they handled it. They went to the town hall and said what my grandmother said, why are our kids sitting in the back seat? When
This would have been around when?
They were probably 12, 13. I was a little more grown, you know, older than
So
than
probably
them.
the 60s maybe?
Probably.
Or,
And that's why I said when they say some of this stuff, you know, you do know they did do it. And you stay strong. You just stay strong. Something that's not right, it's how you handle it. And you seem to be very... No, but I mean, it's how you handle it.
Yeah.
He didn't have us going out there and beating up somebody just because they called you a name. He would say, is that your name? No, Dad. Then what do you worry about?
Yeah.
You will do what you have to do. He wasn't that violent type would go and want revenge,
Yeah.
which most kids would do. That's why I don't like when you see them quick to get a gun, quick to use a knife. It's awful. Awful to see them just go out there and shoot somebody or kill somebody. You know, it's awful. Smoking. They did smoke, they hid it, you know. My father and mother didn't smoke, so that meant you wasn't gonna smoke. I mean, it was, and you had to respect that. We respected it. You know, and that's what I'm saying. You're strong, and what you're saying, no, stand for your word. You ain't gotta cut somebody else's or something. You know what I mean? You don't have to do that, and you stay strong. Because when they see people that's strong like you, they will try to knock you to get you angry. That was their thing. They wanted to get you angry. And if you stand strong, you beat them at it every time. They get angry. And you won't get angry. You just stay strong. God's with you. He is with you. And I'm proud of you. I don't know you, but I'm proud of you. Just the way you're holding yourself. I'm really proud. And you lead other people to do the same thing. Really. I'm glad you're involved in this. And more young ones should be involved in it. You know, I don't know how are the kids that you go to school with or that you're around. You know? Yeah. Are they like that? They ain't. Move away. Move away. Don't hang with them that'll try to draw you in. Believe me. Even if they call you a chicken, if they call you a name or whatever, you're not that person. But don't let them draw you in. Let them know, because they'll know there's a difference in you. They'll know that. And they want to draw you in. But don't let them do it, no matter what. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. You keep moving forward. Regardless. You might think it's interesting, you know. That sounds like fun, you know. You might get that, but it ain't fun. In the long run, it ain't. I mean, we did little things, you know, that we had to worry about Dad finding out, or, you know. But it's not worth it. And today it's worse. When I see the shootings and that really upsets me. You know what I mean? And we have to hold our own too. As adults, we have to. Because we probably want to punch somebody out too. You know what I mean? So we have to hold our stand too. We have to do it. Not just the kids. We have to.
Yeah.
You know? But I'm proud of you. You're just your you know how you
Carry yourself?
carries yourself. You know what I mean? Really good.
Thank you.
Really good. But go around some of the areas in Windsor, Hayden Station, Pond Road. We used to be able to walk to the airport. We can't walk to the airport now. We used to be able to walk to the airport. Can't do it now. It's like, oh, where's the airport? Where's the airport? You know, there's differences here for you. Really good. You got opportunities. Just stand your ground to it. No, really. Sometimes that outward look shows. I'm seeing it. But you can imagine some of your friends, and they'll be thinking, who she thinks she is? Who she thinks she is? These are things they'll be thinking. And they'll do it to draw you in with them. They want to draw you in with them. Don't go there. Don't go there. You stand strong, because they will do it. Let me tell you, they will do it. Yeah, look around Windsor and see if you wouldn't see the changes because you didn't know. Like I said, our librarian's house. I was thinking, since it was our librarian, that they would fix it up. You know, it was our life. I mean, we had a lot, like, her house is just sitting there. And to me, they could fix it up like the other house I was telling you about. That guy actually wants that house to look nice in his yard. I don't know whose house. I said I'm gonna go to the town hall and ask him, you know, whose house over, you know, because you can kind of look in the window. I said I'm gonna go and try and see if I can find a picture. But they could do something to her house. I mean, this guy who lives in the house, he fixes that little old house up. But if you see it when it's raggedy, I call it raggedy because it's dirty and you know, so I call it raggedy. But every now and then, when it gets like that, he paints it, and I think that's nice. I think it's nice. But they don't. People don't know. We almost didn't know it was our uncle lived in the house. We didn't know. It was. Matter of fact, when he was living, I don't think we paid attention. You know, we were kids. We ain't thinking about somebody's house. You know what I mean? We were kids, young people, until one of the older ladies said, "Your uncle lived in that house." And when he left that house, he went down by the railroad station and lived in the railroad station house. They had a first and second floor down there. Coopers. Some people might remember Coopers, and they lived in that train station house.
Did you know Virginia Harris?
No.
Virginia Harris that lived on Cook Hill? The Harrises? Eddie, Virginia.
We knew the Wilsons.
Well, yep, the Wilsons lived on Cook Hill.
Yeah.
And Virginia lived right on the corner.
Yeah, I think so. She had a daughter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dolores.
Yeah, my friend. My friend. We used to have some good times too. She was, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow.
We got two more for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, tell them to come over and talk with them.
Okay. Okay.
You
Give
all
us your
got it.
name one more time. Just
Mary Jean Johnson.
all right.
But it's Saunders now.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes, but you know, go around and look the area
Sure.
of